Hello and welcome to TB3 Sports Talk. You are listening to the Rays season starting special. We are kicking this baseball season off on Thursday, and we're here to talk about it.
Baseball is back, baby. I'm so dang excited. Love Rays baseball.
Yeah, I cannot wait. It's a long season, but it always seems to go by way too fast, and I'm just eking for some more baseball, and we're finally here.
If you're a newer viewer, this show was built on Rays baseball.
This
is our foundation.
This is our foundation. We're back to the basics.
I think this is the one we all shine the most on.
Maybe, yeah, dude. We all love some Rays baseball. We love Bucks, we love Lightning, but we just love. There's something
It's
about
America's pastime.
There's something about every day. You just become like part of the team. Basically, you're with them every night, and you're just part of the team. It's awesome. I love baseball.
Good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be a lot of good.
You love
this year.
it, you hate it.
There's gonna be so much good this year. The Tampa Bay Rays, 2024. They're coming off a season in 2023 where they were 99-63. That was best for the second. That was the second best record in the AL East behind those dang Orioles. They ended up in the wild card one spot, and unfortunately, they lost in the wild card round to the eventual champion, the Texas Rangers. But there's a lot of positives from last year. A lot of breakout players: Josh Lowe, Isaac Paredes, Zach Eflin. All these people broke out, but there was also some negatives towards the end of the season. Obviously, heartbreaking end. You have a long streak of not scoring in the playoffs. You can't really pitch, can't really hit in the playoffs. Your season comes to a screeching halt. So we're going to talk about how we're feeling going into this 2024 season. We're going to get everything you need to know about this season that starts on Thursday, March 28th. That's when opening day is.
Where do we begin?
We will begin.
I think we go roster, right? Let's see. Find out who's playing where, who's starting where.
Who's batting third, playing third, and where in third.
Amen.
This guy.
But yeah, your Tampa Bay Rays have a projected lineup as of Yandy Diaz at first base, Brandon Lau at second base, Isaac Paredes. Nope, I'm going to go shortstop first. Jose Caballero at shortstop, maybe Ahmed Rosario, but right now Jose Caballero.
They'll be splitting time
They'll be splitting time. Third base will be Isaac Paredes. And your left outfield is going to be Randy Arozarena.
Randy Lane's back.
Yes, it is. In center field is Jose Siri. This burrito is so good. Yum, 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 yum. And then in right field, to start opening day, it's going to be Richie Palacios. But for a lot of the season, it will be Josh Lowe, your man. Some depth pieces. The Rays do have Curtis Mead to fill in that infield role. They have Harold Ramirez at DH. So he's going to be your DH along with some other people to fill in. And Ahmed Rosario, like you mentioned. Backup catcher. I didn't say catcher. Dang it, Colby. Catcher is going to be Rene Pinto. We're all looking for a big season for Rene Pinto. Maybe the best season a catcher's ever had in Rays history. And that's not really out of the question with the Rays catcher's history. But and then also Austin Shenton is a young player that's looking to fit into the lineup every once in a while and get some big at-bats. So, guys, how do we feel about this lineup on the surface?
I think their biggest need was definitely some more power bats. Going into this offseason, I'm not quite sure they're at where they're supposed to be, but they do have the stars. They have a lot of the returning cast. They got Randy Arozarena. He started off white hot from the World Baseball Classic, was kind of the most popular player from there. He's got really beefy over the offseason, so he's looking to mash some more home runs. Need him to step up. We know he can do, so he needs to be consistent again. Yandy Diaz was right there for the AL batting champ.
He was there.
He was a batting champ. Yeah, he was a batting champ.
Right there for MVP.
Need that this year. Brandon Lau, Mr. Hot and Cold. We know what he's capable of. He needs to be there for this offense. I think Josh Lowe, he had kind of a breakout year last year. He's going to start off missing some time due to his hip. So once we get him back, he needs to be right back where he left off in 2023. And then as far as the new faces, I think the elephant in the room is we don't have our familiar shortstop. So we really need to see Ken Caballero and Ahmed Rosario. Can they make up for that person's production? That's going to be a big thing. We need offense, and especially losing somebody of that caliber, those two combined have to make up for it. You just have to.
Yeah, we lost some players to trades and signings, but we lost our shortstop to temptation from that guy down below. So, unfortunate situation. Unfortunate, we gotta fill that hole. I think that's one of the biggest storylines coming into the season is what is the shortstop position going to look like for the Tampa Bay Rays. We know that the Rays acquired Jose Caballero in a trade for Luke Raley. We know that the Rays signed Ahmed Rosario recently. Both of them had pretty solid springs, had some hot streaks, some cold streaks, but some encouraging things that we've seen from those guys. Caballero, he's going to be your defense guy. He is the guy that, the Rays, they love defense at the shortstop position, and that's why I think he has the edge right now for starting at the shortstop. And then Rosario, he was once a highly touted prospect. He is definitely can hit for a good average. He can steal bases. He's got a really good knack for that. He's not as good defensively as Jose Caballero, but he might have swing a better stick. So it's interesting to see what that position is going to look like. And then you got Taylor Walls at some point coming back from injury. Where's he going to fit into this equation? We don't know. But
Gold Glover.
What does the shortstop position contribute to the Rays is a huge storyline for the 2024 season.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope Taylor Walls gets back to his Gold Glove play because it wasn't there last year.
He had a kid. I'll excuse it.
Come on, he's supposed to have dad strength.
No, he was like too strong to catch the ball.
Yes.
We'll say that.
You need soft hands, Taylor Walls.
Yeah, have your kids in the off season, guys. Come on, we need to lock in. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing with not having Wander Franco, playing a little bit of money ball here, seeing if we can get multiple guys to make up the production of one guy. But I think that's going to be really a key for the Rays if they're going to succeed this season. We talking about the pitchers, or we still got some more talking about the bats?
Well, I mean, I'm just interested. For me, I think the Rays have some stars on their team, but they also have a couple of their stars to me are very hot and cold, and sometimes when they're hot, they're kind of the best players in the world. Like there's some people that aren't swinging better bats than them. And then there's the Rays have Yandy Diaz, they have Isaac Perez. Those are stars and really good players that we know what we're going to get from them at night out, day in, day out. Solid, hit the ball. Isaac Perez is going to hit 30 home runs to the pull side. We know what's going to happen. But we don't know what type of play we're going to get from Randy Arozarena and Brandon Lau. Sometimes these guys look like the best players on earth. They can't miss a ball. Anything in the zone is getting whacked to deep right field or deep left field. And then sometimes these guys go in long cold streaks. So it's very crucial for this team to see what their stars that are hot and cold are going to contribute to this season and stay healthy too.
Yeah, I think it's no longer the hot or cold. We cannot afford that. When you look at the division and the other teams around in the American League, can't have this anymore. We need these guys to be the stars that they're supposed to be here for. They're supposed to be the stars and lead this team offensively. We can't have cold streaks. I think you could also throw another name in there of Jose Siri. I think there's another guy in the outfield who could really be a factor, and if Jose Siri wants to keep his job and be a consistent center field starter, I think he really has to step it up, and he really has to be consistent, because I think Jorge Palacio, Richie Palacio,
he can play center.
He can play center. Josh Lowe can play center.
Rosarino was getting a lot of starts in
He
center.
did, made a great catch.
I think Jose Siri, you got to really step it up, man, because that outfield, I think, is pretty deep.
I agree. And then, obviously, what are the Rays going to get from the catching position? I think we all love what we saw from Rene Pinto down the stretch. We just better at bats than what Mejia and Bethancourt were giving before Pinto took over. So a full season of that, what does that look like for the Rays, and how does that change the complexion of their team?
I think that's the big thing too, because you mentioned two names. Christian Bethancourt no longer with the Rays, and Francisco Mejia was told he would not make the opening day roster. He will start out in AAA with the Durham Bulls. So Rene Pinto, you're not going to expect much from your catcher, okay? It's not like we're expecting him to be an all-star, but we need some consistent play, because I think sometimes the Rays struggle with forming offense when it comes to that 7th, 8th, and 9th hitter. We need to get some of these guys to get on base consistently, or at least extend innings to give your big guys a chance to score some runs. So I think as long as he just stays consistent, we don't need him to be an all-star, but we need him to play like how he's playing towards the second half of 2023.
Yeah, if he can take his walks and hit above like 245, that's all we're asking. And that's a pretty easy expectation for a guy like him. So overall, I'm excited for Pinto. I think this will be a notable season for him.
Yeah, I agree. And I think what Will mentioned is, I think, a huge key to this lineup and how much success they're going to have, and that's going to be the 7, 8, and 9 hole hitters. I think when the Rays were going early on in the season, and somewhat in, I think, September was that run they made, when the lineup was hitting, it was because all 9 hitters were connected and playing really good baseball and having good at-bats. The Rays are not going to win off having big names. They're not the New York Yankees. They're not going to overpay someone to have the big name and have their old season that they had a huge season. That's not going to happen. They're going to rely on young players. They're going to rely on unsung heroes. But where those guys come back to bite you is when they're able to just work as a team and all give quality at bats from 1 to 9. And I think that was so evident early on in the season, and when the Rays were going good was, you get Jose Siri popping a home run in the 8 hole. You got Bethancourt when he was going, playing good. You have Taylor Walls. Some months he looked amazing. It was kind of crazy. And then, in some points you had Luke Raley or Josh Lowe hitting 7, or you had Harold Ramirez down there. These guys are quality hitters. So I think the depth of that lineup is still there. I think there's a lot of quality players in the mix. Like Will said, deep outfield, deep infield with a lot of young talent. Curtis Mead's one of our, if not the best prospects in the Rays organization. He's not officially starting, but he's in the mix. So the depth is a huge part of this lineup, and I think it's what's going to carry them to some success this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we want consistency throughout all the guys, because when those bigger boppers start getting cold, and the smaller guys feel like they have to carry the load, and vice versa. Like when we had the first 6 weeks of the season last year, when everybody was hitting consistently and hitting well, it flowed, and runs were coming onto the board night in and night out. But then when some people start getting cold, the whole lineup gets cold, and the Rays are very guilty of that.
July.
For years now. July, yeah.
July was the worst month of my life.
So that's a hard ask. Like, you can't ask somebody to be consistent. Like, it's a hard expectation, but consistency is when any baseball team is going to be playing at their best.
Consistency is one thing, but it's just about staying dangerous. You look at every World Series winner, and feels like there's never any holes in your lineup. No matter who it is, no matter what the team was, it's like there never wasn't somebody who could hit a home run in any second or totally turn the game on its head. And the Rays, they probably don't have that. They don't have the facilities to do that, but they need it to have guys who can at least have the capability of extending innings, of loading the bases up. Okay, like I said, I don't expect Rene Pinto to hit grand slams, but if he could just draw a walk, get on base, and you just give one more at bat to Yandy or something like that, that is going to be so huge for the Rays going into the postseason.
Yep, quality at bats 1 through 9. That's what we're looking for this lineup. And speaking of quality, that's the word I would think of when I think of Rays pitching. So Rays, we're going to go to the starting staff first. This is what your starting staff's going to look like to start the year. It's going to look a lot different throughout the course of the season. Right now, the Rays, shocker, are banged up in the starting rotation, but they do have a lot of depth. They have a lot of pitchers in the mix this year that will hopefully kind of negate their injury proneness. So right now, your number 1 starter, your opening day starter officially is Zach Eflin. Really good season last year. was the 2 on the Rays last year for the majority of the year. 99 win team, really good season. He's going to be your opening day starter. And then your number 2 is going to be Aaron Civale. His Rays tenure last year after the trade deadline was not great, pretty mediocre, but we know he has the stuff. We know what we saw in Cleveland the first half of the year. Looking for a bounce back season from him. And then your number 3 is going to be reliever turned starter Zach Littell. Just was so huge for the Rays when they needed him most last year, when there was injuries mounting all over the place. Zach Littell turned from reliever to a starter, and he pitched a lot of quality innings. He's had a really great spring. I'm excited to see what he does in this Rays rotation. And number 4, a new guy, Curtis Mead, or Tyler Alexander's his actual name, but Curtis Mead is what Will thought he was when you met him at Rays Fan Fest.
I'm still so sorry.
Still so sorry. But Tyler Alexander is your number 4 starter. He, as of right now, we do not know if he's going to be becoming behind the opener or if he's going to be getting the start. But right now, because Shane Baz and Taj Bradley are not in the mix because they're injured, Tyler Alexander's your 4 starter. And then your number 5, the young gun, Ryan Pepio, the guy we acquired from the Dodgers for Tyler Glasnow. He's your 5 starter. Had some ups and downs this spring, but he's gonna have to prove it on the diamond because he's being forced into action due to all these injuries. So that's your pitching staff right now.
It's very tough right now to start off the season like this with a lot of injuries, but the hope is you can see on the horizon they will get some of these guys back. They will get Shane Baz back. They will get Taj Bradley back. They will get Drew Rasmussen back, and I'm still holding out hope they get Jeffrey Springs back this year. So if you can just stay afloat with these 5 guys up until you get some of the cavalry back, this will go a long way. And these guys do need to step up. I think I'm most confident in Zach Littell. I think he's going to keep it going. He's had a phenomenal spring training, if you guys don't already know. And then for me with Zach Eflin, I think he will be solid, but I would like to see more consistency. I think that's his biggest downside. Aaron Civale, he was mediocre at best. We'd like to see him when he was with the Guardians last year at the beginning of 2023. And then it's kind of a wild card, I'd say, with Tyler Alexander and Ryan Pepiot. Pepiot is a younger guy, and you know how the Rays can develop pitchers, so hopefully it's probably going to be rough to start the year, I would say, but hopefully towards the end of the year he can become a solid guy that we can rely on. And then Alexander, you never know. I think we can look back with Zach Littell. We probably all weren't the highest on it. Like, we weren't expecting anything to really happen, and now like I said, I feel the most confident in him. So Tyler Alexander is a reliever. That's what he's been in his career, and now they're going to turn him into a starter. And like I said, with the track record of the Rays, this could be a 1,000 IQ move for them.
It's definitely one of the lesser rotations we've had in probably the last 10 years. But I trust Coach Snyder with all these things, so we'll just have to see. If anybody can whip these guys into all-stars, it's him. But I think in all of these things, with hitting and with pitching for the stars, or I guess I should say the veterans, for Eflin and for Civale, like, I don't want them to have to feel like they have to do so much to where they're overtaxing themselves and then they're not performing because they feel like they have to do too much. And I say that as well for the hitters. In all of this, we'll just have to see. This season is one of the more coin flips I've seen in a while, but we'll have to see what happens. It's a long season.
That's true, and I think in the pitching staff, the biggest coin flip, like Will mentioned, is Ryan Pepio. He has all the stuff that'll play at the major league level. Great fastball, disgusting changeup, and we've seen the ups and downs. His first game against a potent Blue Jays offense, he holds them down in a couple innings, and then he has a couple rough ones. And then his last game, I don't remember who it was against, but he had a really solid game. I think 5 innings pitched, held the team down to about 1 run. So we've seen both sides of it. We know he has the stuff to play in the MLB. So I think if we could get kind of a just a really good start for Pepio to his career. He's pitched a couple major league games, but a really good start for him would be huge for the Rays and kind of swing the fortune towards them, because like Joel said, there is a lot of coin flips because of youth and inexperience on this team. So how these youths develop throughout the season is going to really determine what way this Rays season goes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the name of the Rays game. They know what they're getting into. This is usually their intention each and every season. So if anybody can do it, it's the Rays. But there's something about this season that feels a little bit scarier, and the reason I'm scared is because we're already facing our biggest enemy of the year, and that's the injury bug. Like usually we'll be going into the season full strength, and then come May, June, that's when we'll be hurt. But we're hurt day one, so that's part of the reason why I'm a little bit more cautious going into this season.
Maybe that'll make them healthy at the end of the year. They're trying something new.
That's true. Start the rotation a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And you think too the injuries with Springs and Rasmussen were last year. Left it back in 2023.
Yeah,
2024,
they left the
something
injuries
different.
in 2023. That's
And Shane Baz, like I know he re-injured himself, but he still counts for like 2 years ago now. So
I'm excited to see him pitch. Him and Bradley, I think, will be electric to add to the staff come May, because that's when those two are slated to return. So they will be back pretty soon. Springs is slated to return somewhere between July and August, and Rasmussen's slated to return somewhere between August and September. So
and that's always the Rays talk. They're like, we don't need to add at the trade deadline. We got 2 starting pitchers coming back.
well, that's good because we can add bats.
Sure.
I still
That's true, that's
would love to add a couple bats.
yeah, I'm curious to see what these bats do. Like we said, but we can't go back to bats. We already talked about that. We're going to go to maybe the strongest part of this Rays team. I don't know, the stable, the bullpen. And this bullpen is highlighted with a bunch of established Rays guys. Honestly, you got Pistol Pete Fairbanks, your closer, coming off a pretty good season
Snake
last year.
Eyes
Snake
Pete.
Eyes Pete, baby. Then you got Jason Adam coming off an up and down season for sure, but we know he's gross. Absolutely disgusting. He's your setup guy. And then you got a lot of depth in this bullpen. You got Colin Poche coming off the best season of his career. I know he still scares us from 2 years ago, but he had a great season last year. And if you don't think that's true, look at the numbers, look at the tape. Then you have Phil Maton, a newly acquired Ray from the Houston Astros. Gonna throw some junk, gonna be really hard against the lefties. A guy the Rays are gonna do wonders with. I just know it. Then you have Sean Armstrong. Sean Armstrong, with the numbers he put up last year, could be the setup guy on a lot of teams, and he's listed as 5 in the depth of our bullpen. So Sean Armstrong is a really solid player. He's had actually kind of not a good spring, but he's getting all the runs out early. You know what I'm saying? Then you got Garrett Clevenger. I don't know if you guys remember him, but Garrett Clevenger, he tore his ACL last year. He is back, and he is pitching for the Rays. A nice power-throwing lefty for the Rays to add to their bullpen. And then you also got the Davinsky code down there to mop up some innings. Maybe scare us in extra innings because Kevin Cash always likes to play. But he does have a really good changeup. The Rays could do some wonders with him. And then you have Jacob Wagensupak. He is going to be the long reliever, the Erasmo Ramirez of this year, if you will. So that's your Rays bullpen, looking pretty stacked and loaded.
Yeah, and Wagen's back. That's a little bit of an interesting story. He hasn't pitched in the majors since I want to say 2020. So it's been a couple years. He played in Japan, and he signed a minor league deal with the Rays, but they felt like during his spring training that he deserved a spot on the opening day roster. So hopefully we'll see some good stuff out of him. And I mean, he made the team for a reason, and we know what this pitching staff, I guess the expectations they have. So it's pretty big to come out from a minor league deal and make the major league roster. So shout out to him, and I'm excited to see what he does.
Yeah, he made it over guys like Kevin Kelly and Nurei Uwasawa. So he didn't just get on because it was the last spot and someone had to take it. He earned that spot, so I'm excited too to see what he can do for the Rays.
Yeah. And a guy like him could become the A-plus reliever of the season, because something I've noticed throughout the last couple of seasons is that, like, we go into the season, we expect like Adam or Fairbanks to be the all-star, the A-plus guy, and then they kind of take a step back and another guy takes his spot. So this might be a season where Fairbanks kind of takes a step back, and then a guy like we've been talking about, he's the guy to step up and eat those big, scary innings.
Yeah, I think there's always just that one guy, you know. I just 2 years ago I was pretty kind of hated Colin Poche. He's public enemy number one, and he turns around and has a pretty solid year last year in 2023. Chris Davinsky, though, last year, I could not stand him, and I'm hoping this year he's pretty solid as well. I mean, I think year in and year out, this is the one part of the Rays roster where I'm worried the least about. I think their bullpen is always the best in baseball. I don't think anybody else compares. And just hoping for health. Really, I think that's the biggest thing is just have these guys stay healthy, especially your workhorses. That's Snake Eyes Pete, Jason Adam. Hopefully a bit of a bounce back year this year, but keep those guys healthy. Yeah.
And a lot of that comes into having the starters pitch longer. So it's a two-way game. So if we can get these starters going a little bit longer into the game, we'll have more bullets in these bullpen guys coming up the postseason.
And I think the Rays did a good job of that last year. I think you look, Eflin went deep in the games very consistently. Yeah. It definitely, once they hit that injury bug, that kind of offset all the good work they did by their starters early in the season, which sucks. But I do think Rays pitchers and Kevin Cash did a good job of letting people go a little later in games, which I appreciate. And I'm telling you right now, from me, Colby, to you listening at home, Jason Adam is going to have a bounce-back year. He's going to be an all-star, and he's going to be the best reliever on the Rays.
That's my fear, though. I think Fairbanks is going to take a little bit of a step back.
Fairbanks is just
they take turns.
Maybe.
Oh,
but I think
they're both going to be good. There we go. Here's my hot take.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping for it.
I'm hoping for it too, but I'm confident about Jason Adam. I know I have a great feeling about him. So yeah, that's your bullpen. That's your Rays roster. So that's what we're looking like. And I think let's grade each unit. So lineup, pitching staff, and bullpen. Right now, right at this current moment, what would you give a grade to? We'll start lineup. Joel, what would you grade this Rays lineup currently?
I would give it a B if they'd signed Evan Longoria as a depth piece, but without him, it's a B minus.
I'm gonna go C+. I think they should have done more in this offseason. They should have added a big name. I think, like I said, the most potent World Series lineups are guys who are so dangerous 7th, 8th, and 9th, and they're just as good as the guys in 3rd and 4th. And I think you didn't have to spend a whole lot. You didn't have to break the bank. I think there's plenty of guys you could have gone after, like Jorge Soler,
JD
Martinez.
Signed for $4.5 million.
Jock Peterson, just guys like that. Cody Bellinger, even. And I think this lineup has the potential to be very good. We've seen it. They've been to the playoffs now. What? 4 years in a row? 5 years in a row. I mean, we know what this lineup can do, but they got to take it to the next level. And I think by not really doing much, I'm going to give it a C+.
It's the same song and dance every year. We'll probably go to the playoffs, but we don't have that established bat to carry us to the promised land. And again, we come into a season where we didn't do that. So that's why we have this caution right now.
I'm going to give it a B+. I'm a little bit more optimistic and high on the lineup. I think the young guys are going to do good as your late hitters. I think that's a lot of talent to have at the bottom of your lineup. Even if they're young, it's still talent. And I think some of these guys that have been kind of youth in the past playoffs, I think are going to be able to establish themselves and hopefully become that bat that can carry us. I know it might be a pipe dream, but I just feel a little bit better about guys like Randy and Brandon Lau this season. So I'm going to give it a B+. But I do agree, I would have liked to see one established bat, probably the DH position, with a little bit more pop than Harold. But I also love Harold Ramirez. I love
I'm
Harold
glad
Ramirez.
he's still on the team. I thought he was going to be axed.
Yeah, me too. But I think the depth of this lineup is going to be really good throughout the course of the season. And so I'm going to give it, and it might get even better with Junior Caminero coming up in the mid-season, but I know we just said we're doing it right now. But B+ is my grade. And I'll just flip it back around. We just go right back. Pitching staff right now.
Starters or
Starters.
bullpen?
Starters. We'll do starters and bullpen, I'm thinking. I'll give it C-. I want to be high on it. The thing that scares me about the Rays, obviously right now is not their full pitching staff, and I'm hoping they get to a full health point. Hoping, praying even, all right? I just want to see the Rays get healthy. It's already been starting, like Joel said, to deal with injury things before the season even starts. It's like giving me PTSD about baseball season. I'm like, oh, this is why baseball season's rough. But I'm going to give it C- because of just the battered stance and the fact that I love Eflin, but it's hard for him to be the number one guy. Just in my book, I think he's a great 2 or 3, but him being number one kind of hurts the Rays. I just don't think he's got that it factor like Glasnow or McClanahan had. So I'm gonna say C- for the starters.
Believe it or not, I'm gonna give it a B+. I think at the end of the day, I don't know. I'm less skeptical on guys returning than maybe some other people are. I think by the time we get to the end of the season, you're gonna have Jeffrey Springs back. You're gonna have Drew Rasmussen back, and Zach Eflin and Aaron Savali can kind of take a step back. They don't have to be as relied upon as they will be at the beginning of the season, but I think they're going to do just good enough to keep the Rays afloat. I think Shane Baz will have a breakout year.
I'm excited to see him
And
pitch.
I don't even know if Taj Bradley will be on the Major League roster. I really think that there's just too many guys, and they're going to perform well. Like, I think Littell will perform well. And when you get these other guys back, I don't think it's going to be tough for him to get on the team. All I'm saying.
Throw some flame out the bullpen for the playoffs.
I mean, bullpen would be great, but I just think, I don't know. They don't really need him. That's how confident I am. And, man, if they went out and got Jordan Montgomery, he's just sitting out there,
True.
I'd give it an A+, but we'll see. I'm very confident. I'm very confident. And especially when they get the cavalry back, they're going to be A-okay, and they're going to have a amazing starting rotation.
All right.
I'm going to go down the middle. I'm going to give it a B, and I give it a B for a reason we haven't said yet. Your Tampa Bay Rays brought back Jake Odorizzi.
Oh, yeah.
Am I saying he's going to be the comeback player of the year? Yeah, I am.
I forgot they did that.
I said that just now. Comeback player of the Rays, potentially even the year. Brandon McKay, he's probably going to throw some darts. We'll see.
Maybe.
So we got more pitching depth than we realized.
He has the worst beard in baseball, Brendan McKay. It's so bad.
Every year, a couple of these guys work out. So in all seriousness, we'll be okay. Pitching's not the concern. It's the consistency of the bats.
Yeah, and my point, like right now, they don't have that one guy, but Baz or Springs, in my opinion, can be that one starter for a guy.
Springs is a dog, man. He is a dog. Nobody even talks about it.
I agree. If Springs is back, and he's back like he was last year, he's obviously a one starter. And Baz has all the potential. So I agree. I think my grade could go up, and I feel good about the outlook. But I just am so scared about injuries and Rays. I'm just skeptical about it.
I mean,
We've got him out of our system.
We gotta figure it out.
But it's a league-wide thing. It's not just the Rays.
I mean, baseball's got to figure it out. Like,
it's literally baseball. They're just
like the average career length of players right now is like under 3 years.
yeah, because they're doing things that shouldn't be like physically, humanly possible.
Yeah, like baseball, we got to figure this out, or we're gonna keep losing ground in the
Robotic
hearts of the American.
arms.
Something
That'd
like
be awesome.
that. That would be crazy.
Mandatory
Robot
Tommy John.
baseball.
Like how you have to enter the draft as a man when you turn 18.
You have to get Tommy John.
Mandatory Tommy Johns at 16.
That's crazy. Bullpen, we could grade it real quick. I'll be quick. A+. Got the firepower, got the depth, got Kyle Snyder behind the wheel. A+ for the bullpen.
I'll be pickier. I'll go B+, just because I want one of those names. Like I want like Alfonso Soriano or something like that.
Yeah, I'll go A-. I can't give it A+ because I'm gonna curse him.
Yeah, dude, I might have cursed him. That's all right though. But yeah, feel great about the bullpen and pretty good about the other parts. But all right, so should we do awards first or standings? We can fit.
Let's go.
All right, we'll
awards.
go
awards and then standings.
Awards, standings,
Wins.
Yeah.
Yep.
On-air meeting.
Yes, you guys are a part of it because we love you. But yes, we're going to do, I don't know if you guys caught it was a while ago, but at the end of the Rays regular season last year, we did awards for the season. So we did things like MVP, Cy Young, Most Improved. We also did some other ones, but those had involved actual specific games, so you won't get that until the postseason show. But right now, we're going to give our predictions for Rays MVP, Rays Cy Young, and Rays Most Improved Player. So I think let's start. Well, let's leave MVP last. Let's leave it last. Let's do it Most Improved. Will, I'll let you go first.
My most improved player, who will that be? I think he fits the category the best. I think Shane Boss. I think he's going to come back and he's going to be a solid piece for the Rays. So give me Shane Boss.
I thought you were going to take this guy, so I'm happy you didn't. But my most improved player is going to be Richie Palacios. I think he's due for a huge season. I think he's going to hit 20-plus home runs this year. And I think he's going to be a spark that we need, some youth excitements. He's got glasses. If that doesn't get you hyped, I don't know what does. Richie Palacios, fear the specs. Richie Palacios, most improved Rays player this year.
I'm surprised neither of you guys said it. I personally don't believe it, but it should be stated like it could happen. Brandon Lau. He won't get injured this year. I mean, crazy thought. And he hits 30-plus home runs.
2021, he hit 39.
It's not going to happen, but for the sake of being right in October, Brandon Lau.
All right, and Cy Young. I'll go back to you, Joel. Joel, who will the Rays Cy Young be?
Jake Motorings.
Oh, man. Hey.
It could happen.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Cy Young for me, Zach Littell. I think he will just be, he might not be an all-star, he might not be your ace, but I think he's going to be solid all year. You're just going to have a reliable guy from game 1 to game 1, how many ever it takes to get to the World Series. He will be your guy. He will be solid Cy Young.
I'm going to go with a reliever, and I'm going to go with the guy I already said. Jason Adam will be your Cy Young of the Rays. He's going to have a crazy season. He's going to put up huge strikeout numbers and be one of the best relievers in the league. And I think that's going to be valuable for the Rays, and I think he will be your Rays Cy Young. MVP. All right, I'll start it because I think I got a hot take.
Should we save it for last if it's hot?
No, I'm gonna do it. I think your 2024 Rays MVP will be aforementioned Brandon Lau. I think this is the year he breaks through. This is the year he's healthy, and I just feel good about it. I think he's going to have more hot streaks than cold streaks. I think he's going to hit 35-plus home runs. He's going to hit for about 280, and it's going to be so awesome to see one of the best second basemen when he's healthy play a full season. So Brandon Lau will be your 2024 Rays MVP.
And Brandon Lau will also be some of the best trade bait of the 2024
No.
offseason.
He kind of got some hate. He might have come into spring training too big, too jacked. But you know what? I think it's finally time for a full season of Randy Arozarena, MVP caliber season. And I think he might be battling for the American League MVP. I think this is finally his year. You kind of saw some hype. You saw it way back in the playoffs, in the World Series run in 2020. You saw it in the World Baseball Classic. Now we're getting a whole season of it. And I think this is finally the year. It's finally going to happen. He's going to have a solid season through and through. Randy Arozarena will be your 2024 MVP of the Rays and maybe even AL MVP.
I think that does fit the narrative of his story because this is like 90% his last season as a Ray.
Nah, he's getting Franco's money.
If that works out, this would be a good point to trade him. So that would work out for all parties. My take, I'm going to go Josh Lowe. I was like in the moment. Which one? Josh Lowe. I'm going to go Josh Lowe.
All right.
It's been like 4 years and I still can't remember that one in the moment. Josh Lowe, I think once he gets back from the injury, he's got a lot of time and he's ready to go. He's gonna be like, all right, I'm late to the party. Let's do this.
And he shouldn't be out more than like a week or two in the season. Like he'll be back soon. I feel like our tone is saying he's going to be out for like a month or two. But
It's just because
just a week or two.
It's the Rays, man.
Right,
It's like,
Rays.
we can't
Week or
trust.
two.
Week or
right?
two, Rays. Right? You better
Right,
not be lying
right.
to us.
You better not be.
None of this May June talk.
Oh, I can't do.
So,
He's
yeah,
too
talk.
handsome to not play.
Yep.
Josh Lowe.
He
That's
just,
my,
he
that's
just
my
needs
go.
to look at his hip with like a smoldering face, and the hip.
Yeah,
will-
was it
will heal.
Mog?
He needs to
Mew?
Mog and Mew his hip.
Oh, don't get me started. Don't
Dude,
get me.
I don't know if I could handle Josh Lowe mewing at me. That would. Be
I would
too
pass
much.
out.
Yeah.
Like in the cartoons, they got the hard eyes and they just fall over. Like that might be me if he mewed on TV.
Back to Randy Rosarina, he better not be too big. Because when you're too big, that's when you tear a muscle and you're out for like half the season. So none of that. You better not be that big, Randy Rosarina.
He's jacked.
Just saying.
He's ripped.
You
yeah.
and Yandy Diaz, sometimes you get too big and you injure yourself.
Yanni Diaz did good.
He's been
I'm not
good
even gonna say
lately.
it.
He's been
I'm not
good.
even gonna say it.
He's
Nope,
been
I'm
good
not saying
lately.
it.
He's been good lately.
Yeah.
Last year that was clean.
Yeah.
So let's keep that up.
I'm gonna be a little negative. I think Isak, we haven't really talked about him. I think he's not gonna have as great of a year. That's a hot take, but
Maybe. It's
That's
and
possible.
right.
it's
That's-
no disrespect to him.
Evan
I just
Longoria's in the
don't.
wings.
I don't know if he's gonna have as good. He'll be solid, but I don't know if he'll have as good of a year. I just
It'd be
have to throw it
hard.
out
It'd be
there.
hard to repeat that. He had a great
Yeah.
season last year.
That's why I
Absolutely
think
great.
Randy's gonna take over.
Maybe. Hey, not crazy. Right now. So, in my opinion, I think the AL East is now the second best division in baseball. That's up for debate. I think
Who's the first?
I would say the NL West is better than the AL East, in my opinion. I think the Dodgers, the Backs, the Padres, and Giants are really good. So,
But the
it could.
Rockies
Leaving the
stench.
Rockies out? Come
The
on.
Yeah, but the
Rockies
Red-
stench
yeah,
in
but
that
the-
division
yeah, but
does
the
not
Red-
make them the best.
The Red Sox suck though, but they don't
The-
suck as bad as the Rockies.
the
The
Red
Red
Sox-
Sox sometimes pull out just like a random
Yeah.
90-win season, though.
The Red Sox suck is like over, like under 90 wins, basically.
No,
Yeah.
they'll be below 500.
No, come
Yeah.
on.
I doubt it. I
They
doubt
were
it.
below 500
Don't
last
doubt
year.
the Sox, man. We doubted the Sox in 2012. Look what happened. We doubted the Sox in 2018, I think it was. Look at what happened. No,
Well-
18 was the Nationals. But every time we doubt the Red Sox, they're just like,
I mean, the
we won
Rockies-
the World Series.
Yeah. If the Red Sox aren't good, they still
Are better than the Rockies. I
are
agree.
better than the Rockies, and like the Rockies will lose 100 games this year. The Red Sox won't even come close to that.
Well, it's a debate, but I think those two divisions are by far the best two divisions in baseball. But the AL East is one of the best divisions in baseball. Again, the Yankees, Rays, Blue Jays, and Orioles all have World Series aspirations. Without a doubt, the Red Sox might try to sneak in there, but those four teams truly do. They were at it all season last year, and they're going to be at it again. The Orioles were the AL East champions last year. They added an ace caliber pitcher, Corbin Burns. They will be getting Jackson Holliday, number one prospect, at some point this season, and they still got prospects in the route or in the pipeline. So the Orioles are going to be really good this year. There's no denying that. The Yankees had a very busy offseason. They signed Marcus Stroman and Juan Soto to bolster that trash team they had last year and hopefully bring some hope back to their fans. They still have a lot of their same players, a lot of older players that, in my opinion, aren't going to play a full season, but we don't have to get into that. And then the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays had a pretty forgettable offseason. They
what
almost
are you
got.
talking about? They got Isaiah Kiner
They got Isaiah
and Danny
They
Burgers.
re-signed
And-
Kiermaier?
and Justin Turner. Yep. They had a pretty forgettable offseason. They were in on Shohei Ohtani, swung and missed, just
There's
like Vladimir.
rumors he was in Dunedin.
Yep. But wow, that's crazy. There hasn't been a drop. There hasn't been a drop in a
been a
long
while.
time. It's been a long time. I had to do it for Rays baseball. I had to do it to
That's
bring back
tradition.
the tradition. But yeah, forgettable offseason. No Shohei Ohtani. You lose Matt Chapman. You replace him with Justin Turner. Definitely a downgrade. But the Blue Jays still have those young prospects. They still have a really good pitching staff. That is, I will give them. Their rotation is pretty disgusting. Maybe this is the year Alek Manoah cuts back on the McDonald's burgers and pitches the baseball. But all four of those teams have real World Series aspirations. And right now we're going to give you our standings prediction for the AL East. Joel, I will start with you.
All right. Orioles, Rays, Blue Jays, Yankees, Red Sox.
That was top to bottom, right? I think that's
Yes.
obvious.
Top to bottom.
Yeah.
Top to bottom. I like it. Any reasons?
I'm not feeling the Yankees right now. Like, yeah, sure, they got that guy from the Padres. Don't know his name, but good for them.
Juan Soto.
Yeah, so there's someone in the middle. Red Sox, I talked them up, but I don't actually think they'll do it. They said, yeah, that was the 2013 World Series. Nobody thought they'd be good on that one, but they got it. So, Red Sox will be last. Rays are in the middle, second place, and then I think the Orioles are still building. They're still going. They're good.
They're really good. Will you want to go last, Will?
I'll go last.
All right. Pretty similar to Joel's. I think the Orioles will be number one. They're stacked, man. They really have a deep lineup, youth and talent at all positions. Corbin Burns is a great add for them. So I just don't see them losing their AL East title.
They're just young and special too. They could go on a nice dynasty.
They could, and they got a new owner too. So jealous for them of that.
About that.
Number two, I do think the Rays are going to be number two. I agree with Joel. I think the depth and the continued pitching lab is just going to reign true over 90 or not 90. That might be. I just tipped my pitch of what I'm going to say. How many wins the Rays have over a 162 game season. I think it's good. The pitching lab is going to reign true. I think they're going to be outlast the Yankees, and I just don't really buy the Blue Jays. So that's why I think the Yankees third. I think the additions will help. I do think the Yankees will make the playoffs, but I just don't think they're better than the Rays or the Orioles. I just not buying the Rizzo stand. I think they're both going to take a step back. Stroman, I'm not buying their pitching staff either. Garrett Cole is going to start off on the IL. Rodon, I don't buy him. Stroman, he might have a couple good months, but Clark Schmidt, I don't care. Blue Jays will be fourth. I think their lineup is just due to take a step back. I think Vladdy is not the player he was that one year. I think that was an outlier. I think he's a decent player, but he's not the superstar they try to make him out to be. Bo Bichette's good, but losing Chapman's going to hurt. I don't know. I just don't really buy the Blue Jays, even though their pitching staff is good. But I just don't really buy their offense and their bullpen. And then fifth will be the Red Sox. I think they'll be below 500, like a 78 win team. I think they'll win some games. They'll be decent. They have a solid lineup, but their pitching's not very good. So that's me. Orioles, Rays, Yankees, Blue Jays, Red Sox.
Yeah, let me start off with the easy one. I think we all know that is the Boston Red Sox. Are they trying to play Moneyball? Are they just not doing anything? Do they not care anymore? Do they want to go into another curse of some sort? They're not good. I don't think they're going to be terrible, but they're not going to be anywhere near the top of this American League East. They will be number 5. Number 4 is your Toronto Blue Jays. They got Vladdy. They got Bo Bichette. Well, you know what? They haven't done squat with those guys. And what makes me think after a lackluster offseason that they're going to somehow turn it around this year? I'm not that impressed with their starting pitching. I'm not that impressed with their bullpen. I don't think they've done anything to improve it. And I don't think they're going to be that good. They will be your number 4 spot. Number 3, this might come to surprise to some people. I think the insanity run of your Baltimore Orioles is over. They will be your number 3 spot. They had a fun, exciting year last year. They won a bunch of games, but it's too young of a team. I don't think they're going to be able to hang on to that success. I feel like it's a flash in the pan. This is the same old Orioles. They're not that good. They're not going to be as good this year. I don't believe it. I don't see it happening. Number 2, give me the New York Yankees. They're just going to have enough to be good, but we all know the outcome. They're not going to win it all. They're going to choke in the playoffs. We've seen it happen before. They're going to be number 2. I think Juan Soto really will help them out a bunch. Marcus Stroman is solid, and I just think they're going to have some guys who bounce back. What's his name? Aaron Boone, or whatever his name is. He's fighting for his job. He's fighting for his life out there. The Yankees desperately need to win, and I think they're going to do it this year. And you know what? I might get some hate for this. I might get some hate not from Rays fans. I'll get hate from a bunch of people. The Rays will be the number 1 seed in the AL East. I'm tired of the disrespect. Every single year, we get the same thing at the start of the year. The Rays aren't going to be good. The Rays are going to fall off. The Rays don't have the same pieces. Well, you know what? This team with Eric Neander and Kevin Cash, they found a way to win every year. And they go to the playoffs and they win. And they beat these teams that spend gobs of money in the regular season. They beat them. And why not? Why can't this be the Rays' year? Why can't it happen? Maybe this is the turnaround. Maybe this is finally time they get it done. Maybe this is time they change Major League Baseball. The Rays will be your number 1 seed in the AL East. Give it to me.
Your rant was really good, but it is actually sad to think about that we really haven't beaten anybody in the postseason. Like outside of the fake 2020 season and
Don't call it fake.
And call it fake. We've beaten these teams.
I don't need the rant, but like if you really think about it, like that's kind of sad.
We've beaten everybody with less. I don't care.
Yeah.
We are a 25-year-old, now 26-year-old franchise. We've been to 2 World Series, and we have one of the lowest spending salary caps in Major League Baseball. One of the lowest. We've been to 2 World Series, and we're consistently in the postseason. There's some teams that haven't been in decades. Decades. When was the last time the Yankees won a World Series?
2009.
They
Been
spend
too
the most
long.
out of
Been too
everybody.
long.
I get so sick of this, how everybody, every single year, the Rays are 4th, 3rd, 5th, sometimes even 5th in the preseason standings. And guess what? They go to the playoffs. They still win almost 100 games every year. Why not? Why can't this team do it? Why is this any different from any other year? Look at what they were projected to be last year. Look at that the year before. Guess what? They still went to the playoffs over the Yankees, over the Red Sox. I don't buy this that they're gonna have some fall off. We got the best manager in baseball, because I guarantee you, if the Rays let go of Kevin Cash tomorrow, 29 teams will be calling for his name. 29 teams. There we go. I've said my piece.
Amen. I concur. But I mean, so with that being said, Will, first off, I just want to say, if you are betting people, we don't condone it, but if you do it, if you are Shohei Ohtani and maybe you want to bet on some games, but the over-under for the Rays, I don't know, win total is 84 games. I think it's 84 and a half.
Man, that's easy money.
That's
easy money.
disrespectful.
That's easy money. The Rays are going to win 86 if everything goes wrong. The Rays will win 86 games. That is the worst case scenario. So, I mean, for Will, what I was going to ask you is, how many wins do you think the Rays will end 2024 with?
101.
All right.
101. There's no reason they can't do it. The cavalry will come back in the pitching staff, and this team will be rock solid. Because if you're tired of disappointing postseason finishes, you think these guys aren't tired? You think this team isn't tired of it? They are ready to go. They got the same cast coming back, and they can do it. They really can do it.
That's cool. I'm going to say the Rays are going to win 91 games this year. I think they're going to be comfortably in the wild card chase, and I think they're going to break through in the wild card. I think this is going to be the year where the start might not be so hot. It might be 500 or a few games over for a month or two, and this is the year they finally hit their stride towards the end of the year. It's going to be opposite of last year. They're going to finish the season hot, and they're going to go on a run in the playoffs. 91 and 71 is what the Rays record will be in 2024.
I'm thinking 89, but based on what I said about us being in second place, I can't say that. So I'm not going to go with my mind. I'm going to go with my heart. Let's say 94.
Let's go, Joel.
Let's say 94.
Let's go.
Like mathematically, if we want second place, we got to get 94. So
That is
94
awesome.
wins.
I love the positive energy for the Rays. We love the Rays. Just so you guys know, the Rays' first 2 series of 2024 are at home. They're against big opponents. They got 4 games against the Blue Jays this weekend, starting on opening day, March 28th at 4:10. It is already sold out on the ballpark, but you can get resale tickets. You can find a way if you want to. But if you don't want to go on opening day or can't go on another day of this weekend. Make sure you're at the ballpark. And then they face the defending world champions, the team that knocked your team out of the playoffs, the second series of the season, the Texas Rangers. They face them at home. Let's have a better show out to the games than the wild card, all right? That is 2 home series to start the year. Show up to Tropicana Field and root for the Rays. Root for the Rays. The crowds were good last year. Let's keep that up.
I agree. There's plenty of sick giveaways.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be there for a bunch. I want the Randy bobblehead that you can fill water in the Ray tank. Looking forward to that. There's a pickleball day. I'm going to be there for that. I want the Jose Siri chain. Maybe the Devil Ray hoodie shaped like a ray. There's plenty of reasons to go.
That one. But
come on, that'd be sick.
I think it's pretty cool.
We could, if we
I
all got
like
it,
it when I like it when they lean into the Stingray stuff.
if we all got it, we could do an episode with
them
that
on.
one.
That's a
Yeah.
little cringy.
Yeah.
That's a little cringy.
Oh.
That's not, dude. We're mega fans.
Okay,
If the Rays win the
I
World
mean, if you guys
Series,
wanna do it,
if
I'll
the
do
Rays
it.
win the World Series, I will put that hoodie on and run around with only that and my underwear on a main road, like the Courtney
Dale
Campbell.
Mabry.
Yeah, Dale Mabry.
Like
I'll
a
do it.
parade.
275.
You got to do your own boat parade.
Yes. There we go. But yeah, that's it. That is your 2024 Rays season preview. Watch them on opening day. Support them this weekend. 4:10, Valley Sports, Rays versus Blue Jays, Eflin versus Barrios. Tune in on Thursday. So go Rays. Hashtag Rays up. If you're listening on YouTube, like the video, leave a comment on what you think the Rays record will be in 2024. If you're here, we posted a video yesterday with all your Lightning and Rays spring training and Bulls talk. It's episode 32. Go check that out if you are interested in the other Tampa Bay teams. And if you're listening on Spotify, follow and hit the 5 stars, please and thank you. If you're on Instagram, we have some big Rays content planned for Instagram for this Rays season. So follow us on Instagram, TB3 Sports Talk. Follow us on Twitter. We're going to have a bunch of content on that too, TB3 Sports Talk. Thank you guys for listening to this episode, and go Rays.